Hello and welcome. Tonight, the evil is unspeakable. Words of Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo as he visits St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, 24 hours after terrorist attack. More reactions and condemnations trail evil act. Governors Forum leads strong delegation to Owo, donates to victims as CAN leaders hold prayer session. Inspector General Police deploys bomb disposal squad to Owo, also orders full-scale investigation into the Catholic Church attack. And away from the attack, President Muhammadu Buhari clears the air on his position on the choice of a presidential candidate. For APC explains he has no anointed one. On business news tonight, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria reports decline in CEO confidence on economy for the first quarter of 2022.
On sports news tonight, former Super Eagles captain John Mikel Obi launches program to discover and develop young talents in football, basketball and tennis in Nigeria.
And from the nation's capital, it's crunch time for the All Progressives Congress. Party begins special presidential convention and Nigerians to know candidates of the party in less than 48 hours.
And in international news from London, Ukraine's military intelligence chief says Russian forces are being ousted from Severodonetsk despite having a tenfold advantage in artillery.
And we begin with some political stories as the president has cleared doubts about where he stands on the choice of a presidential candidate for the All Progressives Congress APC in the 2023 general elections. President Muhammadu Buhari made the clarification in a statement by his media aide, Mr. Garba Shehu, following his meeting with 14 APC governors of northern states at the State House, where he vowed that there will be no imposition of candidate on the party as he has not anointed anyone. He further told the governors, "You were elected as I was. Have a clear mind as I have. God gave us the chance. We have no reason to complain. We must be ready to take pain as we take the joy. Allow the delegates to decide. The party must participate. Nobody will appoint anybody." The president told the governors that the party is important and its members must be respected and made to feel they are important. Meanwhile, the northern APC governors that met with the president seem not to be backing down on their stance on which region should produce the next president of Nigeria. 13 of the governors are insisting that the party's presidential ticket should be yielded to the south. The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, told State House correspondents that the press statement announcing their position, which he said was leaked on Saturday, is the true position of the governors, and they came to officially consult with the president on the matter. Our correspondent Gloria Mezoke reports.
In last-minute consultations, northern governors under the ruling All Progressives Congress arrived at the presidential villa to meet with the president hours before the commencement of the special convention for the presidential primary. They have come to address a leaked statement on the 4th of June attributed to them, which indicated that 13 northern governors had agreed through their appended signatures that they would back a certain candidate.
The statement leaked out before even our consultations with him. However, it is now in the message, not the messenger. And so Mr. President was very happy. He had, took our position. And out of that discussions, Mr. President, as a believer in democratic process, believed that any candidate was emerged through a transparent process. And I said, we wrote it and we stand by it, that in the interest of unity, in the interest of peace, we recommended that, and also justice. Our recommendation is that the next president should come from the south.
According to him, the president has asked them to consult with the National Working Committee of the party.
He has no anointed candidate, and therefore directed that this forum complete the Progressive Forum, Governors Forum, meet with the National Working Committee of the party to agree and proffer further solutions and recommendations for his own succession.
However, it seems the governor of Kogi State, who is prominently absent here, does not agree with the general decision.
When the majority, or if it's a super majority like 12 out of 14 takes a decision, everyone is bound. What is the majority view of northern governors? We represent the majority, indeed a super majority.
In spite of the permutations and insinuations, the 13 northern governors are hoping that their recommendation to cede power to the south is taken very seriously by the National Working Committee, particularly as they have a few hours to tidy up consultations towards a successful primary. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the APC has debunked news making the rounds that the president of Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has been chosen as a consensus candidate of the party. The APC National Organizing Secretary Suleiman Argungu, in company of some members of the National Working Committee, NWC, told journalists that the NWC stands with the position of the northern governors for power to shift to the south. He was speaking at the APC Secretariat after the meeting of the Working Committee.
You can see all of us are coming from the NWC meeting, but we are fully briefed by our national chairman, the distinguished Senator, His Excellency Abdullahi Adamu, and he did brief us that one is a consensus candidate for the APC National Convention. And that is just for the information he gave us, but it's not an issue that has been discussed on the floor of the NWC. And we have just, like you are all aware, just recently, about 2 days ago, the Northern Governors meeting had a meeting, and that's some minutes ago. The governors in the north have gone to the presidency and have just briefed the press that they are still on what they said with regard to the power shift to the south. It's not an issue that has to be deliberated on the floor of the NWC. It's an information, and all of us are entitled to our opinion. We are all Democrats, and we can exercise what this decision was never taken by the NWC, but an information given to the NWC.
Well, staying with the APC presidential primary race, a former president of Senate, Ken Nnamani, has pulled out of the APC presidential race. Mr. Nnamani announced his withdrawal in a statement he personally released in Abuja. According to him, in the present circumstances, it does not make any sense for him to continue in the race, as he has not had the opportunity to market his profile and ideas to the delegates of the party in a manner that allows for deliberation and introspection. He adds that the issue of certainty on schedules and timelines has also frustrated effective campaigns and made the primary a game for those with deep pockets, especially those in control of state funds, political offices and party structure. The former lawmaker also explains that the events of the recent days have created the impression that zoning had been jettisoned in the ruling party, as the vacillation of the APC leaders with regards to the issue of zoning the presidential ticket has not created clarity in the party, as that injures the confidence and faith of many in the South, particularly that of members from the Southeast. We'll return to more political stories a little later on as we take you to Ondo State. It's almost impossible to wish away the disturbing crime scene at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, a day after the gruesome killing of over 30 persons by suspected terrorists, leaving residents of the street where the church is located in mourning, horrified by the brazen daylight assault. Although there's some level of calmness around the town, security agents are on ground deployed by the State Police Command to ensure safety of lives and property. Meanwhile, leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the local government area have been staging a peaceful protest after a prayer session within the church premises, seeking for God's intervention.
It's the day after the shooting at St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State. Residents are out on the streets close to the church, dumbfounded about the horrific events of the previous day. The perpetrators broke the peace of an otherwise peaceful Owo kingdom as the people mourn their dead. No one saw this coming, not even the governor of the state, Rotimi Akeredolu, who cut short his trip to Abuja for the APC convention to visit the scene. He says nothing can compare to the level of this attack.
What you have in America is a child's play to what happens there. From information from the security agencies, these are the most dastardly act that can never happen in any society.
Although there's some level of calm around the town, security has been beefed up in the area to give the people a sense of reassurance of their safety. Meanwhile, leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria in our local government area have been staging a peaceful protest after a prayer session within the church premises seeking for God's intervention.
This incessant attack, most especially to the Church of God, to the Christian body, the peaceful communities in our nation, it should not continue. And we are peace-loving religious group, and because of our disposition, I think they are taking us for granted. We want the international community to come in and wade in before it goes out of hand.
Inside the church, there are telltale signs of the shooting that led to the death of men, women, the elderly, and children.
I heard, I would say, a noise, like loud noise. Within me, I was even thinking maybe somebody fell, maybe, a kind of commotion behind. So it was when I looked from the altar, then I saw from the sanctuary, I saw one of us. And then who could have seen from inside the church, yes, and so he quickly locked the door. And so from that moment, locking the door, then the message got to me on the sanctuary that unknown gunmen, like armed, they are around.
I was in the church. I just heard a gunshot along the gate. Then I came out. I stood here, and I saw the man came in with face cap, long, like he's taller than me, with gun. The man now shoot gun beside where I did. They don't not come to me. Maybe Christ cover if he didn't see me. I'm looking at him. He now switch another one. I said, who's this foolish man shooting gun here? He repeated another one, and I fall inside. And I locked that. I tell my people, things don't change you. For me to open my eyes through this window here to penetrate, the man apart the other side. And I enter through the other door. As he enter, I was looking, I was still shooting.
Also commiserating with the Catholic Church is the chief imam of our kingdom, who prays for peace.
How can you imagine somebody dressing properly, then coming to church to worship Almighty Allah, to worship God, and then meet his Waterloo? This is very, very unprecedented. I never expected it. I know one thing for sure. God never sleeps. The perpetrators of this dastard action will be caught. God will expose them.
Preliminary investigation reveals that the assailants approached the church as the service was about to end and began shooting from outside the church, while others, numbering about 4, shot directly into the church. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police has ordered forensic investigation into the attack to ascertain the actual or remote causes and for immediate arrest of the assailants.
In part 2, after the break, we have more on the Owo attack. Plus, All Progressives Congress special presidential convention holds at the Eagle Square in Abuja. We'll bring you updates from our correspondents. That's just in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Vice President Professor Bajo condemns attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State. War reactions and condemnations to an evil act. Governors Forum leads strong delegation, donates to victims as CAN leaders hold prayer session. An Inspector General of Police deploys bomb disposal squad to Owo, also orders full-scale investigation into the Catholic Church attack. And President Muhammadu Buhari clears the air on his position on choice of a presidential candidate for the APC, explains he has no anointed one. Thursday, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, visited the site of Sunday's attack, where he condemned the dastardly act and also commiserates with families of the victims. Professor Osinbajo, who described the attack as barbaric, also visited the Olowo of Owo to sympathize with the people of the kingdom. At a separate time, APC national leader Bola Tinubu was also there to visit the injured at the hospital as they relayed their ordeal.
They writhe in pain as they battle for their lives. Though in pain, they're still thankful for the gift of a second chance to live.
They entered through the door, through the window, everywhere, shooting, throwing dynamite. I was lying under the pews there, but this leg was outside. So that's if I knew what was happening. I had a place hitting the leg. The people around me, all of them died.
Assailants invaded the church, committed murder in the Lord's house. There have been conflicting figures as to the number of those killed.
Out of 39, we had 26 adults and 13 children. So out of that 26 adults, 6 of them were brought in dead, while the children, 2 of them were brought in dead.
In the last 24 hours, there have been a number of visits. The Vice President is visiting the state to condole with the people. He meets with the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, before heading for the church, where he condemns the carnage carried out on Christian worshippers.
It's almost unspeakable. It is a horrible thing indeed, that people would gather on a Sunday morning for worship and then be confronted by this sort of heinous and barbaric murder. As you know, the president has already ordered a full-scale investigation of these crimes, and I assure you that without any doubt, those who perpetrated this will be found, they'll be fished out, and they will pay for the consequences of this heinous crime.
Former Governor of Lagos State and national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, also visits the town, stopping over at the palace of the Olowo of Owo.
It is very hard to take, very, very hard, but only God Almighty can console.
The monarch seizes the occasion to call attention to the deplorable state of security around his kingdom.
We will be concerned over time because of pockets of attacks, particularly on our farmland, in our farmlands, in our forests, because there we have our brothers from who are Fulanis that have settled in our forests, and they've been doing negative impacts there.
Others visiting the ancient community are the chairman of the Governors Forum, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, former governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikunle Amosun. And the visits continue, so also the condemnation. This massacre may just be appointed to the worsening state of security in the country, and a call on those whose job it is to protect lives to live up to expectations.
Staying with the attack, the first to occur on such a scale arguably calls to question what the motive of the assailants are. In this report, our correspondent Oroluwa Shonibare examines intent with crucial questions.
The Sunshine State turned dark on Sunday after gunmen suspected to be terrorists attacked and killed dozens of innocent worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo in Ondo State, a brazen assault that has caused public outrage and condemnation. And one of those appalled by the killing is the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, who condemned the attack in the strongest terms and also commiserated with the victims' families. It says, "You can count on our prayers, support and cooperation as we all wade through this tough time together, as we take steps to ensure that the perpetrators of this dastardly act are apprehended." On his part, Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State describes the attack as barbaric and condemnable. A statement by the governor's spokesman reads, in part, "This unprovoked and barbaric attack is condemnable in its entirety. I urge the security agencies to ensure that the perpetrators are found and brought to book." His colleague from Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma, said it was disheartening that the ugly incident took place in the House of God on Pentecost Sunday, a day Christians cherish so much on account of the visitation of the Holy Spirit on Christians. And from the traditional institution, the Oni of Ife has condemned the attack, calling it a gruesome massacre dastardly targeted at turning Yoruba land to a war zone, adding that the Yoruba people have the capacity to defend themselves, even though they are peace-loving. The Oni, who is the co-chairman of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, explained that there have been reports that some criminals are currently working to invade and wreak havoc in Yoruba land, just like the one that happened in Owo. A statement from the monarch's palace reads in part, "When calamities like this befall us without a single trace, the interpretation is that the intelligence unit of our country's security architecture is probably faulty or completely missing." For the Nigerian Medical Association, it's an appeal to Nigerians in the area to kindly go to the hospitals where the injured are being treated to donate blood to save lives. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali-Baba, has condemned the brutal murder of innocent worshippers in Owo. A statement by the first public relations officer says the IGP, while condoling with the victims' families, has ordered full-scale investigations into the incident and the deployment of specialized operatives of the police EOD, police experts and other tactical units from the force headquarters for a comprehensive investigation.
And those are reactions trailing the attack on innocent worshippers at the St. Francis Church in Owo. Well, let's head off to Abuja, where Terry Komi brings us more stories. Hi, Terry. Has the atmosphere reached fever pitch yet?
Hello, Millicent. Let's just shift our attention away from the Owo situation and do some more politicking. Now, all seems set at the Eagle Square in Abuja, venue of the All Progressives Congress Special Convention, with security measures fully in place. 2 stages built, the red carpets laid, lighted camera ready for action. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa brings us an update as the party gets ready to pick its presidential flag bearer.
The flags of the All Progressives Congress blow in the wind in the Eagle Square as it overlooks the Zuma Rock in Abuja. The stages are receiving their finishing touches in time for the many speeches during tomorrow's convention. The carpet is nailed down, the delegate stands are being prepared, and the sound system is set. Traffic around Eagle Square has been cordoned off for the duration of the convention, the 6th, the 7th and the 8th of June 2022, to the dismay of many residents in Abuja. The organizers apologize for the inconvenience, but claim this step is necessary for security reasons.
We are quite apologetic about that, but again, it's something that's got to happen, and we will try as much as possible to ensure that we keep it to the barest minimum. We're quite prepared, as you can see from the grounds. The security agencies are here, the medical staff are on ground, we've got the fire brigade, we've got all the subcommittees are actually up and running, and the grounds again is also ready in terms of the ballot boxes, the stands for them, the also the stage where most of the agenda for the program will be taking place.
This state box is going to be the most secure of all of the locations in the Eagle Square. That spot you're looking at right there is where the president and the vice president will be sitting down tomorrow for the special convention, and their chairs are not here yet. That's because it's a special security measure, and those chairs will be brought in tomorrow. But this particular state box will be housing all of the dignitaries, leaders of the APC, top delegates, guests, and all kinds of people will be here tomorrow for this special convention of the All Progressives Congress. These tables bearing the party logo are expected to house boxes where delegates will cast their votes for who they want to be the presidential candidate of the party. all is set for the special convention of the All Progressives Congress. All the members of the party can wish for right now a clear skies, a fair weather, and a peaceful exercise come tomorrow in this crucial convention that will be setting the stage for the 2023 elections. Nigerians are watching with bated breath to see who the All Progressives Congress picks as its candidate come tomorrow or next, and we'll be waiting to see that result as they unfold. From the Eagle Square in Abuja, Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria conducts survey on chief executives, reports lack of confidence in the economy. Join us again. Welcome back. You're watching News at 10 on Channels Television. The newest party on the block, the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has held its governorship primary in Kano State, with Abba Yusuf Kabir emerging the party's flag bearer. The election took place at the Sani Abacha Youth Center, where delegates numbering 1,320 were screened from the 44 local government areas before voting to affirm Abba Kabir. Senator Musa Haujera, who is the chairman of the committee of the party's primary, said the party will go for consensus candidates throughout the country and at the national level. The governorship candidate thanked Kano people and promised to deliver the dividends of democracy if voted into office. Now, 3 years after unveiling the name and logo of the new national carrier, Nigeria Air, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has issued an air transport license to the interim management. Presenting the document to the Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria Air, Dapo Olumide, the Director General of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Nuhu Musa, says this will help boost Nigeria's economy. He says this will be followed by the issuance of the air operator's certificates, which will enable the airline to commence operation. Well, that's all from the nation's capital. Back to you, Millicent.
Thanks, Terry. And from Abuja studios to the Eagle Square live to bring you the latest update on the level of preparations of the APC ahead of the special convention tomorrow. Our political editor, Shewon Kimbaloye, joins us now. Shewon, all appear set for the primaries?
Indeed, Millicent, all appear set, and welcome to the Eagle Square here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Just behind me, you can see that the APC, the Nigeria's ruling party, looks set to conduct what will become a third presidential primary since the party's formation in 2014. Don't forget the very first presidential primary of the APC held in Lagos at the Onikan Stadium. From there, it came here in 2019, where President Muhammadu Buhari was given a chance of forced refusal, and he emerged the candidate of the party ahead of the 2019. And now the APC will again be testing its internal popularity and its cohesion, and how much a party have united since its formation in 2014. Tomorrow is just few hours to the moment when the party will go to the polls, internal election to elect its flag bearer for the 2023 elections. We will not be able to see that happen until about 6 p.m. tomorrow, based on the plans of the party. So far, what we have heard is that the accreditation of delegates, some of those who have arrived at Abuja, about 2,322 of them expected to vote in this primary tomorrow. Most of them have arrived, and they will be accredited at the International Conference Center in the center of Abuja from tomorrow morning, and hoping that we'll look at how that exercise will pan out. There's a big question as to those who will be allowed to vote. There's about 3 delegates across the 70 across the local government areas of the country, which brings us to about 2,322 or so delegates. But there are some states that have some internal issues, whether they will be allowed to participate in the exercise. Some of those will become clearer as we approach tomorrow, especially when we get to this ground tomorrow. We'll be able to know officially how many delegates will be able to vote in this election. So far, 23 of the aspirants took the form, and 1 person stepped down today. That's the former Senate President, Ken Inamani. We're getting close to the hour. And so much drama has been happening. But Channels Television is on the ground right here to give our viewers all the juicy details of this convention. Millicent.
Indeed, many thanks, Sean Kimbaloi there. We look to you for more updates, and indeed our viewers can definitely watch the latest from the APC presidential primaries that is picking up momentum. Well, let's go over to other stories now. Some company news. The management of Coscharis Group is asking Ford Cars to take advantage of the ongoing Lagos Motor Fair to purchase different brands of Ford, including the Ford Bronco. The company is promising exciting offers at discounted prices for all cars bought during the fair.
On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, we declare this event open.
That action signifies the official opening of the 16th Lagos Motor Fair and Auto Parts Expo Africa. The representative of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment leads other dignitaries to the Coscharis stand and monitors the unveiling of his latest brand, the Ford Bronco.
Coscharis Motors is delighted to introduce the rugged, standard Ford Bronco.
You know, other than, yes, when you see the, okay, look at the alloy rim, the tires, that tells you that this can go anywhere, any terrain, forest, mountain, name it. And then when you go inside, it's a different ballgame. It's a different thing. You see the softness, the beauty, of a modern, what a car will look like in future.
This is a brand new. It's fresh from the wharf. This is the first in Nigeria. It's fresh from the factory. It's first among the first. First among the equals. The only Bronco is in Nigeria is this.
Aside from the Bronco, there are other Ford variants on display.
We are also here this very edition of the Lagos Auto Fair to showcase various variants we have, from the Ford Explorer to the Ford Edge to the light trucks, that's the Ranger, to the Figo. So we have all these fantastic Ford variants that resonate with our market over the years. And that is also what we're doing. We're showing our audience this time around what is new. And more importantly is what we have just also unveiled into the market. That is the Ford Bronco.
The Coscharis Group is promising various ease of purchase and after-sales packages, after-sales voucher and discount on some of the variants.
Next is business news with Ann Waldo.
Thank you, Millicent. Hello and welcome to Business News. The confidence index of CEOs in the manufacturing sector has declined for the first quarter this year. According to a survey conducted by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, the CEO's confidence index declined by 1.5 points to 53.9 points in the first quarter of this year, coming from 55.4 points recorded in the fourth quarter of 2021. MAN says the worsening structural and fiscal challenges coupled with the impact of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war has dampened the enthusiasm of manufacturers in the country's economy. But he, however, notes that despite the decline in the confidence index in the first quarter of this year, the MCCI figure remained above 50 points, indicating the confidence of the sector in the economy, and it's not totally lost. We head to the equities market now, where stocks closed higher today as major markets around the world. But first, let's see the markets right here in Nigeria. To tell us that, Eni John has the details.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the stock market report. We're recovering from the intraday loss. The NGX has continued in the positive territory, started on Friday. The bull celebrates the re-entry into the 53,000 level with today's gain at 0.34%, and that's adding 96 billion naira to the total market value. That positive sentiment was spread all over the activity charts, from the deals to the volume and the value. all positive today. And this activity was supported by a positive movement on FBN Holdings, which led the top trade, followed by Flour Mill. That did much less, but at least it still made it to that list. Now, who should we thank? You can guess. MTN Nigeria, that market giant, swayed the market after almost 321,000 units of its shares were traded for over 75 million naira. It's a positive way to start the trading for this week, and we do hope that the bull stays on the floor of the NGX. That's a stock market report. I'm Ili John Mekwa.
And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Millicent.
Thanks, Anne. Coming up next on the news at 10, Ukraine's military intelligence chief says Russian troops are being ousted from Severodonetsk despite a tenfold advantage of the enemy in artillery. Do stay with us. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has won the confidence vote in Parliament today by 211 Tory MPs to 148, keeping his job as Prime Minister. Our London correspondent Simon Pusey has more in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine's military intelligence chief says Russian troops are being ousted from Severodonetsk despite a tenfold advantage of the enemy in artillery. Severodonetsk is a strategically important city in the eastern Donbass region of Ukraine. It's not clear who currently has the advantage, with both sides giving differing reports. However, Russian troops are said to be pushing towards Sloviansk in an effort to cut off the Ukrainians. Russian state media has confirmed the death of one of Moscow's top generals during heavy fighting in Ukraine's eastern Donbass region. Major General Roman Kutuzov was killed leading an assault on a Ukrainian settlement in the region. Russian state media has confirmed the death, although the Defence Ministry has not commented on the reports. Meanwhile, the UK's Defence Secretary says the country is sending its first long-range missiles to Ukraine, despite a threat from Russia to the west. Ben Wallace said the M270 multiple-launch rocket system will help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. The government has not confirmed how many weapons will be sent, but it's thought to be 3 initially. The decision comes after the US announced last week it was also supplying a rocket system. The UK Prime Minister has survived a vote of no confidence from within his own party that could have seen him removed from office.
The threshold of 15% of the parliamentary party seeking a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister has been passed.
Graham Brady, chairman of the Conservative Party that represents the party's lawmakers, earlier confirmed the vote. It's after a report was published that documented alcohol-fuelled parties in government when Britain was under strict lockdowns to tackle COVID-19.
I think history tells us that this is the beginning of the end. If you look at the previous examples of no confidence votes, even when Conservative Prime Ministers survived those, the damage is already done. The boos, I think, reflected a mood across the country. And that's why, amongst other things, I think that's why many Tory MPs feel that that basic trust has gone.
Police say the death toll has risen to 26 after a bus fell into a gorge in India's northern state of Uttarakhand with 30 people on board. 4 of those rescued are in a critical condition. The bus, which was travelling from the district of Panna in the central state of Madhya, crashed on Sunday. The Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh visited the injured at a hospital following their rescue. Firefighters in Bangladesh are battling for a 3rd day to stamp out a massive fire that killed 41 people at a container depot. Footage showed thick columns of smoke and rows of burnt-out containers as the fire, which started on Saturday 40 kilometres from the southeastern port city of Chittagong. Officials revised the death toll down to 41 from 49, with more than 200 injured. The tally included at least 9 dead firefighters. Officials suspected the source of the fire to be a container of hydrogen peroxide. The incident has once again highlighted the South Asian nation's poor safety record. The President of Egypt has promised to provide 30 million doses of coronavirus vaccine to African countries in coordination with the African Union. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made the announcement at the first Pan-African Health Conference, which is being held in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Around 400 health officials, along with medical companies working in more than 100 companies, are attending the event. President Sisi said that although Egypt had limited resources like other African countries, it was ready to cooperate with them all. And finally, the world-renowned architect Diabedo Francis Carrere has received a hero's welcome at his hometown in Burkina Faso after receiving the 2022 Pritzker Architecture Prize. From a car's sunroof, Carrere, the first African architect to win the award, presented his gold medal to locals who'd gathered to cheer him home to Gando in the southeast of the country. Huge crowds then greeted him when he arrived. Gando had no school when Carrere was growing up. He is now returning to visit 2 schools that he designed and that were built using local materials and labour, with an emphasis on combating the region's heat. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. The former Super Eagles captain John Obi Mikel is in Lagos in his quest to discover talents across the country through his new Back to Base program. Having succeeded as a football player, the former Chelsea star is ready to use his global connections to help talented young Nigerians not just in football, but also in basketball and tennis. And France legend Zinedine Zidane's headbutt statue, which was removed from the Doha Corniche in 2013 shortly after his installation, following a flurry of critics online, might make a comeback for the World Cup at the 3-2-1 Qatar Olympic and Sports Museum. The 5-meter bronze called coup d'etat was removed days after its unveiling, after people in the conservative Muslim country criticized it for promoting idolatry and others said it encouraged violence. And that's sports news.
The main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today cleared the air on his position on a choice of presidential candidate for APC. He explained that he has not anointed anyone to fly the party's flag ahead of 2023. That's news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Melissa Antonwalker. Have a good night and stay safe.